All right. Well, you've used 1 minute of your prep time.
Are you gonna speak?
Yes, I'm gonna speak. 5 minutes of prep time, right?
Yeah. Well, your side has 5 minutes of prep time. You use it all, he has none left.
I think I'm ready.
All right.
I'm responding to the affirmative on the claim of flat tax versus progressive tax. The affirmative claims that flat tax system will take, the affirmative claims that the current tax code is a drain to the economy, a deterrent to growth, too complicated, inadequate, expensive, and unfair. My first negative response is that the current tax code does not confuse American citizens. The IRS provides taxpayers with tax brackets to easily match up their income at the ease of filing their own taxes. There should be no confusion on how to file taxes based on your current income tax. Real quick, a biography on my source, Robert Reich. He is a Chancellor Professor of Public Policy at the University of California at Berkeley and Senior Fellow at the Blum Center for Developing Economies, and was also the Secretary of Labor during the Clinton administration. Time magazine named him one of the most effective cabinet secretaries in the 20th century and has written many books on economies. And he has said that everyone whose income reaches the same bracket is treated the same as everyone else whose income reaches that bracket, apart from the various deductions. So if your income is taxed based on how much you can give. So the fact, that was for unfair. The tax code is unfair. So your taxes are based on your income that reaches this particular bracket based on how much you can give. Therefore, everybody's being treated in the same way. My opponent also states that the current tax code is a drain to the economy, and that is completely untrue because a flat tax, a flat rate, would bring less revenue than we already have. According to Robert Reich, again, a truly progressive tax system would bring tens of billions of dollars a year from the people at the top who are in best position to afford it, which is true because in our current tax system, people who can afford to pay large amounts of tax, like people who make over $400,000 a year, pay 39.5% on their income tax. Therefore, they're able to bring in tons of revenue. Whereas if we were to have a 20% flat rate, those people that are making $400,000 plus a year will not bring in the same amount of revenue. And the people that are making it up are the low income and the middle income taxpayers. The affirmative also claims that the current tax code is a deterrent to growth, which is untrue because it would actually be a deterrent to growth to instate the flat tax system, because you'd be taking away jobs from people from companies such as H&R Block, because there would be no one to file their taxes because it's easier. The affirmative also claims that the current tax code cannot be fixed due to the lack of political and public will, and it is a progressive tax. My first negative response is that progressive tax is better than the flat tax. Robert Reich also says that the details of flat tax proposals vary, of course, but all of them end up benefiting the rich people more than the poor for one simple reason, that today's tax code is at least moderately progressive, which the rich usually pay a higher percent of their incomes more than the poor. Flat tax would eliminate that slight progressivity. So pretty much what I was saying before, the people that can afford more money to give to the government through taxes are giving that amount of money through our current tax code system. However, if we were to instate flat tax, we wouldn't get that amount of money. And if we were trying to reach the same revenue levels that we have now, the people that would be making up for that loss of revenue would be the lower income taxpayers. The lack of, my second negative response is that the lack of public will comes from the lack of need to change. The American people are content with the current tax code because a poll by Wallet Hub has shown that people like they're able to get tax credits and tax deductions based on buying a home and getting tax deductions on having children and dependents. My third negative claim is that the current tax code does not need to be fixed. Because low-income households pay no federal income tax at all. They conveniently ignore the fact that poor households pay as much larger share of their incomes on payroll taxes, sales tax, property tax, directly to their homes and indirectly, than people with high incomes. The affirmative claims that the flat tax would be far less complicated and incentive to growth and far less expensive, much fairer. The current tax code is not complicated at all. Robert Reich also says that it is organized around tax brackets. Everyone whose income reaches the same bracket is treated the same as everyone else that is in the same bracket. So, respectively, everybody's treated the same way on how much they can give to the economy. Overall, flat tax is not the best idea for the economy. Progressive tax is the current tax code that we have now, and it is best because it favors the poor rather than the rich, which flat tax would because it would be low, flat rate. Thank you.